So, first things first, David. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm all right, thank you. Good to hear. So, what I want to start with is I always like to go back a little bit, and I watched a documentary about you. And when you joined the band by auditioning in a way, but before that you had, I think, in the same month, a lot of auditions yourself. So, was it in a sense an audition for the band as well, from your perspective?
Of course.
Did you have a very clear view of what you wanted from a band and what you wanted out of music at that point?
It wasn't 100% cut and dry in terms of what I was looking for stylistically. What I was looking for were just great players that were, great songwriters that were dependable and with it and had something unique going on. The other guys definitely had that in spades. So,
what struck you at that first meeting about the way they played?
They were there. It was the original material that they showed me right out of the gate, which, truth be told, caught them off guard a little bit because for auditions they were used to playing cover songs with prospective members, and I had no interest in being in a cover band per se. I wanted to see what they had original-wise, and they played me some of their original material. I immediately improvised something to it, and that improvisation and that jamming between us that very first day ended up becoming one of the songs on the Sickness, Want. So it was the very first song we wrote together. That very first day we actually interacted. So the chemistry was there, right out of the gate.
Yeah. So, at that point, were you already writing your own songs? Did you put words to paper a lot?
Very, very often,
okay.
And I had been doing so for a number of years.
Do you know, and this might be a little bit difficult, but what compelled you to write thoughts down, and what was it?
To be honest, it really depended on the song.
Okay.
I've never been a songwriter that typically pens a lot of lyrics prior to there being a piece of music to marry it to. For me, the musical feeling you get, the feeling you get from the music being played, should dictate to you what you're to write the song about, how it makes you feel. So until I have that, it's difficult for me to choose a direction. I sometimes think that can be counterproductive.
Do you have, in a way, maybe a sketchbook where you have certain things written down and then you might look back into it?
Almost never.
Okay.
Almost never.
And then when you joined the band, name changed, there was a logo, so there was, and I believe it was kind of by design that you started cultivating a local audience first. So,
correct.
Why was this important to do it that way, to first focus?
It's important for any band. Okay. If you can't conquer your home, you can't conquer the world.
and one thing I found interesting is where you said that you had to play covers at certain gigs to kind of win the crowd over.
Or to fill up space.
Okay.
Sometimes the clubs on the south side of Chicago that we play would require 3-hour-long sets.
Right.
We didn't have 3 hours of material, original material. So, and because you're a South Side, band, and you're playing, blue collar clubs on the South Side, and you got to have something to pull people in that they know. Sure. Sometimes playing all originals right out of the gate. You can sometimes lose people a little bit if they're not 100% compelling, or people don't find something familiar to connect to. So it was definitely part of our arsenal back in the day.
And doing those covers are obviously now a huge hit with A Sound of Silence, but and not particularly with that song, but the covers that you did back in the day as well. Did you learn from the way other people wrote songs and kind of going through playing them and?
We continue to learn from our colleagues and fellow artists every single day of our existence. If you're not continuing to grow and develop as a songwriter and as an artist, and to be willing to learn from everyone around you creatively, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
So, and then a little bit of a jump to A Sound of Silence. Was there a particular reason this song was chosen?
Well, there are two facets to that. One is, it was Mike, our drummer's suggestion. Simon and Garfunkel were one of those groups that his parents kind of raised him on. It was always on in the background in his house when he was a young man, doing chores. So he kind of grew up with it. So he made the suggestion. And to your point of the previous cover songs we had done, I originally had the impression upon him making the suggestion that we were going to do what we had done previously to other covers, make it more aggressive, more rhythmic, more driving. And it was actually Danny's strong suggestion to not do that, but to keep it ambient and keep it ethereal and keep it acoustic and orchestral. And that was something that was very, very challenging, something that was it took a lot of courage, and I'm glad that he had the conviction to go down that road and to encourage us to go down that road, because the results pretty much speak for themselves.
Right, but once you made that decision, did it feel like a risk?
The whole thing felt like a risk, no doubt about it. You're dealing with one of the most well-known songs of all time, written by one of the most prolific songwriters of all time. A lot of people would view that as being completely untouchable, but yeah, we tend to put our nuts on the table from time to time, and that was one of those times.
That attitude to not shy away from a challenge and to kind of go over it, I think that's always been with the band. So
sure.
Where this might be difficult to pinpoint, but where does this come from? This kind of go for it attitude.
It's just kind of in all of us as a group. We're very passionate about what we do. We love what we do. We consider cover songs that we have chosen to cover challenges. How do you make it your own? How do you put your own stamp on it? How do you maintain the identity of the song but still put enough of your own identity on it that it becomes yours? So it's always been a challenge for us, and for that reason, the vast majority of the songs that we have chosen to cover in our career have been very left of center, stylistically, from what Disturbed is typically known for.
And part of what you do as well, not just with covers, but the original material, it's not just one source of inspiration, it is quite broad in a way. So can you name me maybe an influence that people might be surprised to hear from you?
You talking as far as the band or vocally, or
either way?
I don't think any of our influences as a band or even as individual members would really surprise too many people. We've spoken about our influences quite a bit.
Sure.
But I can definitely tell you that there would be probably certain artists out there that continue to inspire us that people might be surprised by. I mean, and I've said it before, but I love classical delivery, operatic delivery. So guys like the Three Tenors, even modern day singers that come from the classical school, guys like Andrea Bocelli or Josh Groban or people like that. I'm also a fan of. So it really depends. I'm sure that would not be what everyone might automatically assume. I might, find inspiring, but I appreciate great talent wherever it lies, and it isn't reserved to a specific genre.